Hello guys, welcome to my channel, Blissfully Single Bean. I'm your homegirl Bean, and yes, I am your blissfully single one. Child, before I get into my Ready to Love review, I just gotta let y'all know I'm coming through with the Afro realness today, simply because I detangled my hair because tomorrow is wash day, and for me to do all this detangling just to braid it up again, to stick it under a synthetic ill-fitting wig, I just wasn't for it today. So please do not be offended by the natural that is me. Welcome to my review of I'm ready to love. This was a good episode. It ended as a bit of a cliffhanger, but child, like I said, one of the best reality shows on TV for this 43-year-old right now. I'm trying to tell you. Ladies meet up at Nephew's Tommy's house. And first of all, Nephew's Tommy's house is exactly how I would imagine it. Sprawling, beautiful. Everything you would want in your life 2 times, 3 times over. It was beautiful. And Tommy's pretty ass wife was actually on this episode. She came down with him. I said, oh, Tommy, we need to see you and your wife every episode. I need to see your wife every few episodes. She is so gorgeous. Not only is she gorgeous, her and Tommy make just the most beautiful couple. I'm telling you, goals, child. Goals. Tommy lets the ladies know what their assignment is for this week. This week, their assignment is to introduce their love interests to their exes. I'm like, really? That is so stupid. That is so stupid because that doesn't mirror real life. First of all, it's awkward as hell, okay? And number 2, it doesn't, when I've never dated someone in the current to meet an ex of mine. Are you crazy? First of all, I only have 2 legitimate exes. My first boyfriend and my children's father. Because I haven't had an extensive dating history. But I'm trying to think, who would I introduce my exes to? It definitely wouldn't be my baby's father because there's something wrong with his logistics, his reasoning skills, and he would sabotage any other relationship that I would try it again to. It would be my first boyfriend. Shout out to you, Ernst. Of the 2 guys I've dated, my first boyfriend is the most balanced and emotionally together person, where he would be in a space where he wouldn't want to sabotage shit for me, and he would try to speak to me in glowing terms where possible. All in all, I think this assignment is stupid. I mean, meeting your friends and family is one thing because, yeah, you want to get another perspective, but meeting an ex is just dumb. It's just dumb as hell. Verneisha introduces, of course, Joelle to her ex, David. And I'm looking at David like, ooh, la la. Oh my God. Her ex is just so fine. I'm talking nice and chocolatey, beautiful feature. I mean, Verneisha's ex is the type that makes you pregnant just by looking at him. I'm looking at Verneisha like, oh child, this ex is not her children's father. It's some other ex-boyfriend. But just looking at this ex, Verneisha, you date some fine looking guys. So Joelle, if I was you, I would not try to be cute. I'd be trying to lock down Verneisha as soon as possible. So anyway, Joel walks in, and Joel is taken aback by this being her ex. So it leads me to believe that these guys, the guys that the women are interested in, they're not aware that they're meeting the exes. They just think they're showing up for a date. So Joel is taken aback. And, you know, they make small talk. And the ex asks Joel if he's a jealous type of guy. And Joel says, nah, man, I be chilling. I'm not a jealous type of guy. But Joel asks the ex, is Verneisha clingy? And, you know, Verneisha's ex looks out for her and says she's not clingy. And Verneisha jumps in and says, listen, my issue is communication. Because when Joel and I had planned to meet up, Joel said, when I'm ready, I'm going to give you a call. She waited. Obviously, Joel never gave her a call, so that kind of ticked her off. So her issue is not really being clingy. So I guess territorial was the wrong word for her to use last episode. But it's just like, if something's going on, or like if we have plans and something changed, just let me know. Just communicate. Like, be forthright. Anyway, Joel left the whole meeting her ex feeling in a positive space. He says it was good. He felt like the ex was neutral, and this seems to keep them in a balanced spot as far as Joel and Verneisha getting to know each other. Alexis Fly's ex meets Ron, and they get to talking, and this was a very pivotal happening for Alexis and Ron, simply because this showed Alexis where Ron is coming from as far as the spirituality aspect. And Alexis is having some second thought. Ron and the ex are going back and forth. And Ron mentions that he left church because they were in his pockets too much, which Alexis was giving him a look like, oh, nigga, what? And in my opinion, all right, I'm giving Ron the side eye as well. But as someone who grew up in church and who's experienced a lot of emotional traumas from church and a lot of my self-esteem issues that I currently have till this day and I'm dealing with, the roots were in church. I get that they were asking you for 10% of your tithes, but I feel like Ron could have dug in a little bit deeper as to trying to explain to Alexis why he left church. But on top of that, he gives this comment about prayer. Ron's like, well, I'm really not the type of prayer type, I ain't gonna pray about it. I'm gonna get up and get it done. And Alexis is like, oh yeah, no, I'm not sure I am rocking with this. So clearly, when it comes to matters of spirituality, which is one of the biggest ties for a couple, they're not in the same place. They're obviously not equally yoked. And again, Alexis is concerned. Liz's ex meets with David. And again, Liz's ex was a whole other breathe again. And I will never breathe again. These girls date some good looking guys, I must say. But yeah, Liz's ex was no exception. Liz says she did date her ex for a while, but things ended up not working out. However, they have like a brother-sister relation. Not a brother-sister relationship. They're more friends now. I'm like, all right, Liz, cool. But she meets with the ex before David walks in. And Liz was explaining something that we were not privy to last episode. Liz explains that she called David up to tell David about what happened with her and Jason. Meaning, her and Jason went on a date. Her and Jason end up kissing. Liz didn't have to be forthright with this information with David. But what David did, and I don't think this was seen last episode, is when Liz was having a group date with David and her friends, David switched up on Liz. David asks Liz, what did you do today in front of the friends? And Liz was like, oh, same old, same shit, different day, same shit, different toilet. You know what I mean? All right, she didn't say all of that. That's me. But at the end of the day, she was like, yeah, the same thing. And David said to her, you didn't go out with Jason and kiss him again, did you? In front of her friends. And I said, oh, David, you are truly showing your colors. You were trying to humiliate this girl in front of your friends. What the fuck for, David? David, you come off as very controlling. Like, you come off as controlling and you come off as an asshole. So, bruh, really? What's good with that? After Liz tells the ex that, the ex is like, word? David comes in rather inappropriately dressed in everyone's looking nice and nice business casual. Here comes David with a jeans jacket with fur on, and I'm like, bro, you didn't look up the restaurant to see where you're about to meet this lady? But like everyone else, David was shocked that there was another guy there, and come to find out it was the ex. So David already, his energy coming into this whole thing, David was on one. Like, David was ready to get it popping. Like, David wasn't with the pleasantries. So David's having a conversation with the ex, and David says to Liz's ex, what I really need in a woman is to be my safe space. She's got to be my safe space. And Liz's ex said, word, she's got to be a safe space. What about you being Liz's safe space? And when I asked you this question, she told me a situation where she confided in you, a situation that occurred, and you blew up her spot in front of your friends. So what's up with that, bruh? All right, David was immediately on the defensive. Listen, David clearly has issues because he goes on to ask Liz's friend, when was the last time you guys were intimate? The hell? What the I'm sorry. Liz's ex was so shocked. Liz's ex said, I haven't kissed her in years. Sir, I have not kissed her in years. The fact that David took out of the back of his pocket a question like, when was the last time you were intimate with Liz? David not only has control issues, David has trust issues. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, David is not ready for love. He's not ready for this process. David is in fact ready for therapy because that's exactly what he needs. But this is not the platform. Can you imagine why would I even to think to ask that kind of question? When was the last time you were intimate with someone that I'm interested in? Like, that's A, that's none of my business. B, I'm confident enough to know if I'm trying to get to know a gentleman partner, if I'm talking to his ex-girlfriend, it doesn't matter if you were intimate with him yesterday, 2 days ago, or a year ago. All of that is in the past. I'm trying to move forward with him. So David asking that question, I said, oh no, there is something completely wrong with David, child. Kyra's ex-boyfriend Timothy meets Jason. And the only reason why I wrote down Kyra's ex-boyfriend's name, Timothy, is because that's my youngest son's name. Shout out to Timmy Monster, my Timothy. Kyra's ex, Tim, meets Jason via virtual, because Timothy ain't have no time for this foolery to fly down and be on TV. No. The fact that Kyra's ex is meeting Jason and not all the other guys who love Kyra is like, okay, Jason must be Kyra's number one. Anyway, yes, it was a virtual meet. Kyra's ex does ask good, pointed, and relevant questions. And through Timothy and Jason's conversations, Jason's having a couple of reservations about Kyra. Jason just doesn't think Kyra is really open, and he thinks she needs to work on her communication. And on top of that, Jason asks Kyra's ex-boyfriend Timothy about Kyra's finances. And I'm like, Jason, why? First of all, Jason, you're a school teacher. Kyra's an attorney. I'm pretty sure Kyra is doing very well for herself. So I did not understand why Jason would ask a question about her finances, simply because that's not a concern that he brought up with during any other episode. So I'm like, did a producer ask you to ask that question? It just seemed like it came from left field. Anyway, he does ask the question, and Kyra's ex-boyfriend does admit she has some money management issues. And I'm like, oh, geez, like, did you have to be that honest? And Kyra in her confessional said, yes, I have struggled with money management. I'm like, oh, geez, Kyra. I'm like, she must be living way beyond her means. But listen, I'm not in that girl's pocket. I just thought it was very funny that Jason would ask that question. Anyway, Jason left meeting her ex, not in a good place with Kyra. He's unsure about Kyra at this point. I said, my, how things have changed from week 1 to week 2. Chris meets Amber's ex. Nothing eventful here. Chris mentioned that he wants a big family. He wants 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. And at first I'm thinking, oh dear. And at first Amber's looking like, oh dear. But then Amber admits that she does want a big family and she does want the children. So she's good to go. But then Chris picks up a certain energy between the two, between Chris and her ex-boyfriend. And Chris said, are you guys still friends? I mean, I'm picking up an energy. As if Chris, is picking up on some lingering feelings. And Amber's ex says, I came out as homosexual while I was dating Amber. Chris, ain't nothing there. If you're picking up something, it was probably the bond that Chris and that Amber and her ex-boyfriend shared, because her ex-boyfriend revealed something that was quite, her ex-boyfriend revealed his sexuality to her as someone who was dating him. So yeah, if you were picking up anything extra, that was that. Chris was like, okay. Chris was able to breathe again, and Chris and Amber left that whole situation stronger than ever. I think those two are going to end up together. I don't see any troubles between those two. Anyway, there was a double date. We have a double date between Jason and Liz. And then Alexis and AJ. I'm like, Alexis and AJ, when? Too much is going on. Alexis, they sit down together. Alexis admits to AJ that she really does like him, but she's afraid that AJ is going to break her heart. And that speaks to this whole thing. Like, AJ is fine. He's well dressed. He's chocolatey. He's got that gorgeous bald head and the beard. So he comes off as a player because he's a really, really good looking guy. But what really confuses me is when Alexis goes on to say that the only reason why she's with Rob is because Rob chose her. And I'm like, when did this become the narrative? Because you didn't, okay. All right, these producers need to come harder with kind of bridging the gap and making things make sense. It just didn't make sense that Alexis chose Ron because he chose her. You never said that. Like, who? Portia, who said that? So that was really confusing to me. That was the biggest thing from that scene. But anyway, she's talking and she's going on and on and on and on. And then AJ is like, you know what? Let me stop you right here. And then he plants a, soon as I get home, I'll make it up to you type kiss on Alexis. And thankfully she stops talking. So I was like, AJ, thank you. The girls give feedback on their dates. Alexis talks about Non's aversion to prayer, and she's confused. I'm like, what the hell are you confused for? Tommy says, listen, if you take God out of the equation. Oh, by the way, the ladies meet up again at the nephew Tommy chalet, and his wife is there, and Alexis is all confused about the fact that Ron is not spiritual, and he kind of gave a disparaging remark towards prayer. And Tommy says, listen, if you take God out of the equation, coming from where you're coming from, because Alexis is an ex-pastor's wife. So Alexis is deeply rooted in spirituality, in the church, and religion. So Tommy says, if you take all of that out, what the hell do you have left? Tommy said, listen, you better pray about it. And what annoys me is that she's like so conflicted. She doesn't know what to do. Like, sis, you're a pastor's wife. Clearly, you and Ron share two different ideals. You don't know at this point that maybe you and Ron are unequally yoked. Surely you came across the biblical passage of lightness cannot mix with darkness. It just annoyed me. Like, are you doing this for TV? Because you should already know. And you know what? Real quickly, this reminds me of Shantae Moore and Kadeem Hardison. Because Shantae Moore and Kadeem Hardison were married at one point for a few years. Shantae's got a man at home, and he's so good to me. She wrote that song after Kadeem Hardison. But guess what? Shantae Moore was a church girl, and Kadeem Hardison was an atheist. So when she's recounting the fact that their marriage didn't survive, I'm like, what do you expect? An atheist and a Christian, that will never work out because you guys are not rooted in the same beliefs. So I'm looking at Alexis like, Alexis, you must be doing this shit for TV because you should know better, girl. Liz talked about, her situation with David and the fact that she trusted David with something and he spit it out there and revealed it to the friends, and she just doesn't trust him. And Tommy eventually asked the ladies who they would choose. Liz and Kyra said Jason. Kyra's looking at Liz like, really, bitch? Girl. Kyra, you're not the only one that all the guys want. All the girls want Jason as well, so calm down. And Alexis says AJ, and of course, Amber says Chris. Amber and Chris really do need to be together. And, again, Tommy's gorgeous wife says, ladies, y'all need to pray about it. She is so damn pretty. Ron meets with Alexis. Alexis shared her feelings about Ron, making a comment that was seen as dismissive to prayer to her. Ron does try to backpedal, but it's really not working with Alexis. Alexis is going back and forth with him. At the same time, Alexis reveals that the only reason why she really liked Ron is because he picked her. And Ron said, hold up. Wait a minute. You only like me because I liked you. So what? You were looking for validation from me? So Alexis obviously didn't know how to answer this question, because Alexis says, well, you were picking me because you wanted to see what I could offer you. In which Ron rightfully laughed and said, girl, you can't give me nothing. It got quite ugly between the two. David meets with Liz, and immediately these two go head to head. It's like, both of them want to speak at the same time. They're trying to get something out at the same time. I get the feeling that each one wants to say, I don't like you, I'm leaving, peace, bye. When you want to be the first one to break up so you don't look stupid, so you don't have egg on your face? I'm thinking that's what the situation is. I'm like, why won't you let each other speak? And then David leans in for the most ill-timed, awkward kiss. I'm like, did you take shots of tequila before you met with Liz, David? I'm not understanding this. And then, to be continued. That was it. This is crazy. It was such a good episode. The episode ended in violence and chaos. And guess what? I'm here for it. Next week. If you like my video, please like, comment, and subscribe. All right, resume. So if you need resume help, please hit me up. And please visit my single mothers, single ladies, single parents doing the damn thing blog. My single lifestyle blog, www.blissfullysingledean.com. And also, please follow me on all of my platforms, especially Twitter, because I be going in and we be having some real conversations. All right, you guys have a blessed weekend. I got this out on Friday. I'm so happy. Catch you guys on the next episode next week. It's gonna be good, child. It's gonna be good. Peace out, guys.